standpoint that Rosemont means fantastic things to me. I've been there 36 years. I've coached since 1963. All but 4 years at Rosemont since 82. Bottom line is that when we started looking at personnel, we didn't have any quarterbacks. We didn't have any split receivers. We didn't have a JV football program. And when I see these young men today, these freshmen line up here, 40, 50 autos, not one of them went to JV. They played as a class. And when our JV lined up today, 28, 29, 30 of them, whatever the numbers are, not one of them moved to varsity that they didn't start. We don't have a sophomore in varsity unless he starts. If he can't start, he'll play JV. The next thing that's important is that we had about 33 or 34 good football players on our varsity team. Our program's getting better and better. We didn't reach down and pull the kids up. There was a lot of freshmen we could have pulled up to the JV this year. We didn't do that. I want the freshmen to play as freshmen. I want the sophomores to play as sophomores. Because you need 3 quarterbacks. You need 3 right tackles. You need 3 inside linebackers. You need 3 defensive halfbacks. And you don't develop them by sitting on the bench. So we're trying to develop a football program where kids have good experiences, they're fairly taught, they're treated properly, and they're going to work hard. And our football players have done that this year. We had very, very few occurrences, gentlemen, hear me out, where we had to discipline somebody. In the team room, late to practice, the only place that we lack right now is strength and academics. We had 8 good football players who didn't play this year because of academics. And believe me, you're going to use your academics a lot more than you are your football skills. We have to solve that problem. And for your freshmen that are here, academics are real.
The first thing I want to do is ask our manager and water girls to come up. Karen, you guys see a Karen. Okay, if you haven't noticed, April, the way April's been running the awards up here is kind of the way she's running practice. She came out one day and said, hey, you guys need a manager? We're like, I don't know, never had one, so I guess, yeah, we need one. You know Pat, I've been around Pat for a while. The worst thing Pat does is, yeah, I just need one more play. Pat, start counting for me. You know, it'd be like, you know, we're going to do 5. And that would be up to 15 or 16, and we're still running plays. All of a sudden, April came around, it's like, okay, April, we're going to do this for 10 minutes, we're going to do this for 10 minutes. Like, coach, 10 minutes, we're done. And he's like, okay. So, she literally was, you know, our right-hand person. If we needed something, she had it there. She kept us on track, and there's a lot of things we couldn't have done without her help. So really appreciate it. Sarah was her assistant. Ryan said, hey, you need help with the banquet? I said, yeah, I need some help with the front door. She said, okay, I'll be there. So Susie came down to the market, so thank you, Susie. Thanks real quick. Varsity guys, come on up here and line up, please. Before I do that, I just want to take 1 second. Coach alluded to it before about how hard these guys play. If you're at the last game to give you an indication of what kind of individuals, what kind of young men these guys are. Going to the last game, you're 0-9. You're done with the first half, and you're down 21-0. You go in at halftime, it's homecoming, you got a million people, that they come out to watch the game. And you go back in the locker room, it's like, well, we've got one half of football left, and we're 0-9, and we're losing 21-0, so, what do we got to play for? And if you're there, you saw these guys come out, give up 0 points on defense, and score 3 touchdowns. And that's a credit. Credit to these guys, that's the attitude they had all year. We used to talk about as a coaching staff, you walk into the locker room, you never know what our record was based on the enthusiasm or the morale or the attitude of these guys. They just never say die. And that's what it's going to take for us to win. That attitude's got to carry over. We're losing a lot of what I consider a lot of heart and soul graduating this year. And we're going to have to find some guys to pick that up, because there's some guys that really carry this team almost by sheer will, and they're going to be missed. I'll start with the awards here for the team. First award goes to a guy who, as Coach said, didn't have a quarterback. So we started a passing league, and we got to a passing league game, and we literally did not have a quarterback. There just wasn't one there. So someone said, hey, Jeremy can kind of throw pretty good. So, okay, Jeremy, you're going to throw. Since you're a receiver, you kind of know what the pass routes are. And you did a really good job in passing league. I remember after the first half of the first game, Jeremy comes over to me and said, man, Coach, it happens a lot faster out here now with pass out. And it's a real testament to him. He's a great student, and he picked things up real well. And for somebody who's never played quarterback before to get thrown into a role as a varsity starting quarterback, he did exceptionally well. And I'm really proud of Jeremy Arthur. You guys aren't my order, so don't worry, Moses, I didn't forget you. I've got the next 3 guys are all kind of in a group. It just sort of happened that way, but I'd like to talk a little bit about them individually, but they're all going to come up as a group anyway. As an offensive line coach, you've got sort of a unique relationship with guys in that you're asking somebody to go out there and work as hard as they can every play on offense, and then come off the field with absolutely no recognition. If you get a good play, it's usually because somebody looks like they made a good catch, somebody made a good run, quarterback did something good, running back did something good, and the running back and the quarterback receivers guys get all the credit. And all too many times, the linemen are the guys that are doing the hardest work. Particularly these 3 individuals. We had one game that I go through and I grade every single player, every single offensive lineman on every single play. So if you want to know how much film I watch, just figure how many plays we run, multiply it by 6, so you can include the tight end, or 7 if we've got 2 tight ends. And the one game we went through, I graded these 3 guys out at about 90 to 95%, the 3 of them. Coach Meredith has alluded to pancake block before, where he just takes away, and I call them turtles, so you put them on their back, and then once the guy's on his back, he's got his arms and legs flat and can't get back up. They started this time last year in the weight room and went non-stop. Didn't matter Christmas, Easter, didn't matter. They went straight through until the season started, kept lifting through the season. And I think all 3 of them have got a chance to play next year. All of that is how the chips fall. But Garrett Brassington, Matt Stern, and Ellie Rundy. Okay, next individual, one of those guys who's really a tweener. He could play almost any position we wanted to, and we asked him to, and that was kind of the problem, because we say, hey, we need a fullback. He'd say, okay, I'll do it. So we throw in a fullback. Hey, we need a tight end. Okay, I'll do that. We need to split out and play wide receiver. Okay, I can do that. And he spent the entire year learning about 4 or 5 different positions, and did all of them really well. Next individual is a guy who played tight end for me last year on JV, and then this year again. The coach last year used to call him Sugarfoot because he, was I always thought it was because he looked like an elephant running through peanut butter. That's what I kind of alluded to one time. And I gave him a big chance one time to return a kickoff before it fair catch and then ran. It's probably one of the things that he's going to remember most, I think, from high school. He's a really good worker. He works real hard. That's Tony Oakwood. Good for you. 3.4 is a good job. Make sure it's here. Next individual, another guy who came out this year, didn't play last year, and said, okay, what do you want me to play? I said, well, let's see, we probably could use another tight end. I think we've only got two, so he said, okay, I'll do that. And then we had a couple injuries in the offensive line. I said, hey, how about playing guard? He said, okay, I think I can do that. We threw him down there at guard, and we moved back out to tackle, and we moved back out to tight end again when things got better. He got hurt about halfway through the year and missed a few games, but came back strong, worked hard, and really, really proud to see him come out and work, and that's Randy Hogan. Next individual, if Coach Roberts were to describe him, he probably said 4 months ago he couldn't catch a cold. And as a wide receiver, that's not a good thing to be. But he worked very hard, stayed after practice catching passes. If quarterbacks were warming up, he made sure he was there to catch passes. And he turned into a really good receiver, turned into an excellent blocking receiver, which is something that most people don't even realize. That makes or breaks your big plays. The receivers can block for you, you have a lot better success getting down the field. And he just worked his butt off to become a better football player. That's all there was to it. Kevin Gospel. One of our ASB's student council reps too, so treasurer, money guy.
What do I need to get better at?
Always asking those questions, always working at getting better. And I thought by the end of the season, he turned into a really good tight end. Evan Glazer. Next individual is a real asset to our team, particularly for our defense. You know, I used to run the scout offense against our defense, and they always need people to run the offense. And most people look over and say, well, I see Garrett and Elliott and Stern and Monsoor. I don't really want to play on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to run into those guys. This young man has never hesitated, jumped in here. Worked real hard at becoming a tight end, when, as you'll see by the other guys I've described, he's probably about 8 inches shorter than the other guys that are playing tight end. Really worked at his blocking, did a really good job, and I think with track season coming on, if you're watching the hurdles, I think he's one of our better hurdlers too. It's Corey Boyce. Okay, next guy is a converted basketball player, so we threw him on defense. Said, okay, just like playing basketball, you got to do is just, watch the guy in front of you and D him up. And initially was kind of played it like basketball. I was, oh yeah, got to get tackled like I do. But as the season wore on, he really started laying some licks on people and did a real good job. It's Kyle Barber. Next individual is another guy that's going to be missed next year. Carried the run and load for us offensively. I know at the last game of the year, next individual came out a little late. I wish he'd come out about 3 weeks earlier, because by the end of the season, he was right where he should have been for about week 6. He was a great defensive player for us. Whether we put him as a fast linebacker or a hard-hitting, strong safety, did a great job. It's Charles Gross. I think it was the Santana game when they didn't get in on 4th down at the goal line. Charles had 3 of the 4 stops on that series. Okay, next guy, I recruited him out of my freshman tech class. And looked at him one day about week 3 and I said, "You're not a freshman, are you?" He was like, "No, I'm a senior." "What are you doing in this class?" "Well, I just never took it." I said, "You ever play football?" "Oh, yeah, once." "Good, get out to practice." Like, "What do you need?" He said, "I don't know, we'll find a place for you." And again, all these guys played Scout-O, then we put them on D-line, we put them at linebacker, we put them on tight end, we put them at fullback, actually got him in a couple of carries there toward the end of the season. Just a great kid, and keeps all my freshmen in line during my tech class. That's at him quick. Kind of been his claim to fame over the last 2 years. I'm here for the track, the softball field. If there's mud on the practice field, Adam's going to find it. He's going to make sure that everybody knows he found it, and go back and make sure that he can hug as many people as he can after he jumps in. Adam's one of those guys that we came in this year like, well, I don't know where he's going to play. We're going to find a spot for him. He's turning a really good D lineman despite the fact he's built like a wide receiver. Plays a lot of heart. He's got like just one little screw loose, which is really good to see. Really good kid. I'm going to miss him. That's Adam Woods. Next individual is the other half of the Twin Towers, as I call them. Didn't come out last year. We got him to come out this year, and really improved a lot between the start of the season and the end. Another one of those guys wish he was coming back because I think where he's at now is about where he should be, getting ready to start the season. Really turned into a really good defensive end. Became a real good force. That was Mario Vitale. Next individual, a gentleman I had the pleasure to work with last year and then again this year. Became one of the best kick returners in the East County. I think he ended up second in East County. One idea how good he was for the last 2 games. They said they wouldn't kick off to us anymore. That's because they didn't want to kick it to him. Kind of an all-around guy. He can play defense, can carry the ball. If he's a little bigger, we could give him the ball more. After the Helix game, though, he's been pretty much banged up for about 3 weeks. It took him 3 weeks to get back over it. Great kid, though. He works real hard. Dan Vindio. How fast the guy is, and finds a way to get it done. Definitely one of the guys that you win with. He's got a great attitude, he'll do anything you ask him to do. Enjoy puts him on it. Showed up, and the first thing we said was, "Okay, Moses, you're running Scout-O." And he said, "Okay." And he'd go out there and he'd run, put his head down, and after you unpile 7 or 8 guys, Moses down the bottom, he'd get up and go ask to do it again. You can't run a team without somebody like Moses. And I hope he appreciates, I know I appreciate the effort that he puts in. It's Moses himself. When he actually plays, he's a really good quarterback. When he starts thinking, he's dangerous. Robert said, "Don't think you're hurt ball." He's got a lot of athletic ability. Look back to the Helix game. He got a lot of good runs. He can do a lot of good things for us. Look forward to working with him next year at State of Texas. Next young man, one of our receivers, again, turned into an excellent blocker, which has helped us out a lot. I think he's going to be a really good receiver. I'll work on his quickness a little bit. He wants to track towards the next year, Zach Hahn. Okay, next individual, probably the strongest person per pound on our team. He's standing right here. Carl's just benched yesterday. 315 or 315? 315? Bench is 315, which is a lot more than what I can do. And I think he only weighs about 190 pounds, 180. You up to 200? Oh, right. Now we only stretch him. He played offensive guard for me. Played some nose guard. Like I said, the strongest player, I think, per pound that we've got, Carlos Gomez. Yeah, next individual, he played free safety. We turned him into a fullback, even though he's not built like a fullback. Made him sort of a running back. We did a lot of things with him, trying to exploit him with the speed, and we're going to try to do that a lot more next year. He's an excellent athlete. He's getting more in the weight room and on the basketball court. So that's his girlfriend. Yeah, his girlfriend, that's another story. And Matt, listen. Next individual, another one of my offensive linemen who just step in and take over. Did a really good job. He was making a lot of progress till his knee got hurt. I think he would have played a lot more toward the end of the season. Once he's back in the weight room, though, I think he's going to be a real asset for us next year. Tom, you're correct. Just a hard hitter. He works real hard. He's coming back next year, so I think he's got probably inside track and only inside linebacker spot. But Travis Williams. Played, and when he played, he again was just all heart. As Coach said, his legs just couldn't carry his heart. If you could just find him an artificial knee somewhere, he's done a great job all season. He wore a knee brace, you could always hear him coming because it would squeak. He had a big voice, so you know where he was. Talk about guys that you're going to miss. Certain characters that you reminded of every year. Sean Keener is one of those guys. Everyone's going to be I think it's going to be a really good, strong safety for us. It's John Wagner.
Mr. Beeman here. It's Bob Beeman. He's not here. And I'd like to recognize Mr. Jonathan for all the work that he's done for us. Taking all our pictures.
Oh yeah, we'll be here all night.
Coach, you guys were really great out there. And I know this because I was up in the press box filming all of you. I was really impressed by what I saw. So for you juniors that are coming back, and the one sophomore, I'm going to really look forward to filming another great season. Thank you.
I love it, but bottom line is we didn't have a trainer. Rosemont's never had a trainer. And that was one of the stipulations that I had in my contract. Rosemont was going to have a trainer. And we were blessed. This is our trainer, and Queen now, and she's a trainer for all our athletes, ladies as well as boys. She did a fantastic job with our football team on conditioning, water, you name it. I had asked her, she would advise us, and she's tough. I'm trying to get her down and run our weight program. Well, I'll tell you, look at those guys lined up and ready to go. And we're very, very, very blessed to have this lady, was right there, and she was there. She took care of everything. And no matter how big the got, she has her assistant she'd like to introduce her.
I feel short. I've had a wonderful time this season. This is the third high school that I've been at, and you guys surpassed any of my experiences. I've just had a wonderful time with you guys. And, I kept saying all year long, you get down, you get discouraged. Winning isn't everything. I've seen teams that have as much heart as you come around the next year and no one can beat it. So keep your heads up, guys. But, I had two student trainers this year that I want to introduce to you who came out and volunteered their time. They're both seniors. They are in the sports medicine program, or I should say class, that we have at Rosemont, and Ms. Capadillas who teaches. Amy Hopper is one of them. Amy is looking into having a sports medicine. And Jessica's also putting a lot of time for us. She's looking also into physical therapy I wish these two young women the best of luck in their future careers.
Offensive Lineman Award. This award is voted on by the team, and in all the years of coaching, I've never seen an award any closer because there was only one vote, and it was actually tied until we had a couple of people that missed the meeting come in and cast their absentee ballot, so to speak, and broke the tie. To me, it'd be a toss-up between three guys, and I'm glad I didn't have to decide, so just give it to the team to do so. Worked really hard. Like this could be for any of the three of them. Just in the weight room, out of the weight room, in the classroom, citizenship, you name it. Any of these three guys are what I consider model citizens, at least up to this point. You see, they still got another semester to go. But as the team voted, the outstanding offensive lineman of the year was Elliot Rundy.
I have the privilege of doing the outstanding back of the year. When we started the season, Pat and I were out riding horses out, and they were all about this time, and we were sitting there thinking about what are we going to do, what are we going to have. We don't have any backs, we don't have a quarterback, we don't have a wide receiver. And so running back this year kind of went by committee. We had about 5 running backs, and those 5 running backs combined total yardage, they get over 1,500 yards, and we usually went with a one-back set. Unfortunately, a lot of these guys had to go both ways. And at the end of the season, when you all hands down, when you saw the workhorse and the guy was doing all the yardage for us, I'm proud and pleasure to give this guy to Jake Robinson.
Moving right along, I'm told, so short and sweet, just like me. Defensive line, there again is a little better than offensive linemen as far as getting credit because they do get to make a few moves which are seen by the crowd. But it's still a thankless job because the linebackers and the defensive backs are all the show. Defensive linemen, especially on our team, they wind up playing both ways. They're offensive linemen as well as defensive. So by the end of the game, they're really dragging. And I try real hard to get players out for a break every now and then. But most of them didn't want to come out. They usually bragged every time. So try to leave them in as much as possible. But the outstanding linemen did play both ways. Outstanding on offense, one of the big three. Outstanding on defense. And an extreme pleasure to work with all season long. The outstanding defensive lineman, Garrett Brasman.
Oh.
Hi, my name's Coach Watson. I'm the defensive backs coach. This next guy here, I tell you, talk about a character man. This next guy was my free safety. He played offense, he played running back. And just another note here, besides being a great athlete and being coachable, which he was, another thing was, I think his dad showed up for every practice we had. I mean, you want to talk about character, a young man needs a father like that. And it sure showed in his character, and it showed on the field. And I'll tell you, I love coaching this kid. Matt Flesher. Okay, moving right along. I have the privilege of giving out the most improved. And it's really nice to see a big football player come out on the field and then watch him the first day and say, oh my gosh, where's he been? And we had one like that this year. Never played football. Didn't come out as a freshman, junior, sophomore, but came out as a senior. And all of a sudden, we tried to work him in, He's getting a little better, he's getting a little better, he's getting a little better. Halfway through the season, he becomes a starter for us. And in my own opinion of him, if he's desirable of this, he should go on and try football in junior college, because he has not even seen anywhere near his potential. And that's Mario Vidal. Most inspirational. I was so happy I was able to give out this award. 38 years of coaching, I've never seen a player more inspirational than this player. The first time I saw him in spring ball, I said, hey, this guy goes 110% all the time. And that's what he did all the time. Every game, every practice. And you just knew that he was going to be a success in whatever he did. And he was. Unfortunately, he had to fight through some injuries, but he inspired me as a coach, and I know he inspired the rest of the players and all the rest of the coaches because they voted him in as the most inspirational player. And of course, that's John Monson. He has good haircuts, too. Okay, I'm privileged to give out the Red Team Most Valuable Player. Again, this is an award that's given to somebody that really makes the team better, because not somebody whose efforts are necessarily seen by everybody on Friday night, but without their going 100% every day during practice and giving everything they have, your team does not get better. You can't get better unless you're going against good competition. And you can't get good competition unless the guys on offense, the Scout O team or Scout D team, are giving everything they've got. Like I said, I talked about it before. Never was late to practice. He never missed a practice. And for somebody whose sole job was basically is like, the red meat getting fed to the lions, he's got a lot of character. I look at him playing, of course, next year, and really looking forward to him playing on the other side, not the red team. Most technical. Back here again. Outstanding Special Teams Player of the Year. Yeah, that's pretty obvious, but as I already said, he was second in East County in return yards. And like I kept telling him this because he used to get upset about it all the time. The biggest compliment that somebody can pay you as a kick returner is not to kick you the ball. Okay? They'd rather have kick the ball out of bounds, or kick the ball and take the penalty, or take it at the 40-yard line, and rather risk kicking it to Daddy and having something good happen. Great job. We had 5 returns in for him, just figuring out a way to get him down the sideline. We almost broke 3 of them, and racked up some of the yards. I got to check and see where he falls as far as rush mark. Did a great job, Danny Vindiolo.
All right, Danny. The next award, and excuse me for us moving, but we have to be out here by 9. We got to clean up too. So here we go. This next kid I asked, he was out on the track team and he was wandering around. I said, hey, why don't you come out for football? I never played before. Well, come on, throw a ball to you, a little fun. I said, try it out. If you don't like it, you can quit. But come on out, we'd like to have you out there. Well, he got out there, he couldn't catch the ball. I mean, he couldn't catch a cold and disease back there. And running, he'd drown in the car wash, I'll tell you. But he would learn. And I don't have to tell him once. I say, you run this pennant, I got to coach you. And he never made a mistake. Great in the classroom. 3-6, ASB, good football player, blocks, does everything we ask. Never got his name in lights, never late, on time, yes sir, no sir, I can do it. And I'm really happy to say that Kevin Gossett won our unsung hero. there's several awards that we didn't have tonight that little penmanship, pick up the telephone and say, hey, I got a kid playing football at Rosemont High School that you need to know. And I'm happy to give an award that I don't think he even has seen. I know he hasn't heard about it because I've been hiding it away for 6 weeks. And it's CIF Sportsmanship Citizenship Award. And it's given by the CIF of San Diego. And it is fantastic. And Kevin, congratulations. Okay, here we go. Ready to go? Okay. Most academic. And there's a very, very special place in my heart for most academic because I know how important grades are. And I honestly believe that it matches the workmanship, the want to, the character, the drive. And I've always said to our football players, where's the point that you're going to quit? What makes you stop? Where are you individually? You don't have to tell me, but find out for yourself. You're going to make excuses. You're going to go ahead. You're going to get your grades. You're going to be on time. You're going to get everything done. And we asked this young man to play quarterback for us. I think his grade point average is 3.78, 3.8, something like that. He's been carrying that. Might be even higher. I might be standing to be corrected. We might ask him. But he was our quarterback. He played defensive back for us. I even got him in a split receiver. He would do anything and everything we asked him. And he'd just look at us and smile and understand and do the best of his ability. That Rosemont High School is very, very unique to have this type of person. And I'm honored to give this award to Jeremy Arthur. Let me say this, there was a night TV program and he was selected as one of the academic scholarship athletes that was on TV, and he got a little ink and all went down. I was really, really happy, and it was nice for him to be there and great for Grossmont. Okay? Thank you.
Kind of like this one. It's called the Golden Helmet Award. It's called the Golden Goal Award. Most valuable player, again, this is voted on by the team. This is not a coach's decision, but I think all the coaches would have voted this way anyway. What makes a team is the individuals in that team and their commitment to the team. The old expression, there's no I in team. This person definitely exemplifies that. It's not what's in it for me. It's what can we do to make this team better. And if that involves dragging somebody by the back of the neck and taking them down to the weight room with them, or pulling them aside during practice and working with them and saying, hey, when we're running this play, your feet are all long. You need to be stepping out, you're stepping in, you need to stay lower. Or why don't you go against me when we go team so that you can learn the plays and I can butt heads with you and you can figure out what it is you need to do to get better. He did all those things. And he is truly a talented, gifted young man in the classroom, out of the classroom. When my son grows up, if he can be as good as this young man, I'll be happy. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. You may see him next year playing for Cal Berkeley and see how things fall out. If not, it'd be some other Division I school. And I am really honored, and it's been a real pleasure to have coached this young man. That's Garrett Brassman.
April kept all the coaches' name and myself on task, and Miss Organizer USA is behind me. April?
I'd like to say that I'm very just being up here. Second, I'd like to say that I really enjoyed managing you guys, and it really gives me a pleasure. And I don't think coaches have been given enough credit. They're kind
I guess I thought I was done when the honeydew's here. I've forgotten, sorry, Lori. And I do stand to be corrected. I'm worried about the watch more than I am anything else. But Karen, would you come up here, please? Karen is Larry Olson's better half, his wife. Let me say that her and her family, Vivian Moore, Gildersleeve, Mr. and Mrs., were the ones that organized the concession stands, purchased the merchandise for the concession stands, gave her this gal, let me tell you, it would be, she only did one thing, and I think I scared the heck out of her. She lost my car keys. And on it was a key to the room, and she's so organized, she just does everything. You can't imagine how brave and forward this lady is. I mean, she's in there taking, Coach, you don't have this, let me take care of this. And she keeps me organized, the rest of the coaches, and on the field, on schedule, and somehow she was chasing a little dog that was sick, and petting a little dog, and she drifted off to being a little girl for 5 minutes, and lost my car keys, which I'll never forget. We walked that stadium at Wednesday night, up and down and around. I think it was that Napoleon finally found that football field is big when you're trying to cover every square inch for your keys, I'll tell you. But I don't think she's ever let me forget it. But every time I look at her, she's kind of shy. But I've forgiven her the moment. And she's worked very, very hard. And these flowers don't do the justice for everything she's done. This concludes our program. Thank you for being here.